I will say, some of these are a little bit of a stretch, like weddings. We all knew the weddings were going to be hot, right? We knew.
I'll just say, I think our hot or nuts are a fun bit, but I also think it's so dumb, and I love it.
It's very dumb, but that's why we do the show.
It's so good. I know. I love it. I think it's so funny to be dumb and silly.
Time for another Geoff and Justin mess around. Justin.
And I'd like to welcome you back to the internationally acclaimed podcast, Bants. Geoff. And welcome to Bants.
Geoff, internationally acclaimed.
Internationally acclaimed, Justin, because we got a lovely comment from our listener from Germany, Brett. Thank you, Brett.
Yes, thanks for commenting.
We don't know Brett, but we're so glad you're here, Brett. Please tell your friends. We love having international appeal.
How's your week been, Geoff? It hasn't been that long since we last recorded.
It really hasn't. I feel like I just saw you, which is a good thing. I love to see you. But my week has been really busy. I'm loving my new job. It's keeping me super biz. Lots of high performers on the team, so it's like fun to be out there with people ready to do stuff and people who just like let it rip and don't just sit around and talk about stuff. I love it.
It's very nice to be around people who are competent, for sure. Yeah.
How's your week been? You sound like you've been busy too.
I have been. For listeners who listened to last week's episode, they'll know that Wednesday was Brandy's birthday. So we went out to dinner at Zaytinya. It was delightful. And it's been busy at work other than that. And we're recording a little bit early because, as previously mentioned, I will be away this weekend at a wedding.
You love the weddings. Weddings are hot. Remember that?
I do remember that. They are hot.
Speaking of Wednesday, did you ever watch that show on Netflix?
I didn't.
Neither did I.
Interesting.
I never did.
Interesting.
It seems like the kind of thing that I would be interested in, specifically around Halloween time, but I just never got around to it.
I don't remember why I didn't watch it at the time. I think it was the IP of it, where it was like, it's a new trendy take on the Addams Family.
Yeah,
you're
like over it.
Yeah, but now that it's kind of it's settled and like Jenna Ortega's a real star now, I think that was a big moment for her.
The dance.
Yeah, the dance, the viral dance.
Like the only reason I really even saw any of it. I was like, what is this about? I like Jenna Ortega. She's got that spooky vibe in real life.
Exactly. It's like the second coming of Winona Ryder, literally.
Totally. Was Jenna Ortega in the new Beetlejuice? By the way, has that come out yet, or is it coming out still?
I think it's out, but I could be wrong. It might be coming out later this month, or in October. And she is in the new Beetlejuice.
Okay, I thought so. That's good casting. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep, it came out earlier this month on September 6th.
Did it really?
Mm-hmm.
That seems so early. I wonder how it did in the box office and all that.
Well, Geoff, speaking of Beetlejuice, our episode today is about fall and whether it's hot or not. So we're going to get into that during our main segment.
Yeah, but before that, we have to get into our hot topics.
We do. Let's get into some hot topics.
Hot topics. Are you going to put the sizzle in again? I love that.
Geoff, I always put the sizzle in.
Okay.
I put it in every time.
Just checking. Just checking.
So, Geoff, I have to say, I was unsurprised to learn that Eric Adams, current mayor of New York City, has been indicted by federal officials in what appears to be alleged conspiracy, wire fraud, etc. He allegedly accepted money from a foreign government to fund his campaigns.
That is a tough one.
Bill de Blasio is currently...
He's Mr. Smithers.
He's Mr. Smithersing his fingers, and he's going, well.
The grass isn't so greener.
Eric Adams, famously a flop.
Yeah, I mean, we already knew he was a flop. Justin, we never talked about on the pod and we've got to discuss the NYPD dance team. Have you seen this?
I have.
I wish I could unsee it, but I saw a meme today that made me lol that said, this is the last thing that Eric Adams saw before he got his indictment. And then it was the video of those people dancing.
It was flashing before his eyes. He was like, my crowning achievement as mayor.
What about the Rat Czar?
The Rat Czar. Oh my God. They're like, For a mayor who was in office for a relatively short amount of time, he really had like a legendarily bad, I guess that's like my favorite phrase right now.
Yeah.
But like a historically bad run of like press flops.
So many floppish moments. It is a clown parade over there in the halls of New York City Hall.
Yeah. I mean, recall that we mentioned him during the Is Brat Summer Dead episode because he was one of many public officials who invoked
He tried
Brat.
to commandeer Charlie's stroke of genius, and he failed miserably.
Right.
What about that clip of Michelle Obama?
What clip?
We have to insert that here, where she's like, you know how people like edit those, celebrity speeches to make them sound totally different, just like with butt clips of what they said in the speech. They're like, "Hey, Flop, congratulations! You're constantly lowering the bar and doing it foolishly." It's so good.
Hey, Flop. Girl, you have done it again. Constant lowering the bar for us all and doing it flawlessly. I'd say I'm surprised, but I know who you are. I've seen it up close and personal. Girl, you make me so ashamed.
Quick summary of the allegations. It seems like federal officials are alleging that Eric Adams received money from Turkey, the country formerly known as Turkey.
Point for you, good pronunciation.
Thank you. Including getting discounted travel on Turkish airline and I guess hanging out in Turkey pretty regularly. Sorry, Turkey, pretty regularly.
Me, what is he going to be doing? Getting a fucking hair transplant? What are we doing?
I don't know. He went to France, China, Sri Lanka, India, Hungary, all allegedly, of course, alleged. And in return, Eric Adams pushed through an inspection certificate for a new Turkish consular building in New York. So he pressured the FDNY to clear safety for a new Turkey consular building. Yeah.
It seems like he got the better end of that deal.
Why is it always the lamest shit?
Yeah, right?
People are always getting arrested for the stupidest stuff. Like, this is not Scarface. Nobody...
It's certainly not. You know who should be Scarface? I want to see the rat czar with a machine gun. Say hello to my little friend. And that's how they get rid of the rat problem in the subway.
I want a cockroach czar.
Do you have cockroaches in DC? This is another reason I'm not going down south. Are they everywhere?
I mean, everywhere is very strong. I think that they're a recurring problem for many people. In all urban environments, including New York. I had cockroach problems in New York, for sure.
Well, your apartment was nasty at some times in New York. You famously had to clean before I came to visit.
We're all growing here on this podcast, as we've discussed. And, when I first started grad school, I was 21. So... I will say it was rank.
Yes.
To put it mildly. During my time in grad school, the conditions did improve.
They did improve.
Thanks in part to you. I remember you bought me my first pillow. It wasn't my first pillow.
My first pillow!
You forced me to purchase a new pillow.
Put that one in your memory
my
book.
Pillow. Yeah. I'm actually surprised the pillow thing hasn't come up on the pod before.
Well, I was about to bring it up. Because what you offered me in terms of accommodation for a pillow to rest my weary head upon was, I would say like an XL tea bag is what it looked like, and just as comfortable as a wet and used tea bag. That was not
I was trying
happening.
my best.
That was my first act of charity, was taking you to
Ever?
TJ Maxx. Well, I would say for you.
Okay.
That was my first act of real charity in our friendship, and I said, we're going to TJ Maxx and getting pillows. That was crazy.
But yeah, actually the only time I really had serious cockroach problems in New York was after the dark ages of my early grad school career. It was during the pandemic because the exterminators were not coming around at that time. This was like very early. No, seriously, it was very early days and the exterminators were not coming, and I had like a couple of really big American cockroaches that were coming up through the pipes.
No, I wasn't saying like I didn't believe you. I'm just like, exterminators, I'm sorry, you are essential personnel. You better be coming up here, especially when people are home all day. When you live in New York, you're out for most of the day. You come back home to sleep or get ready to go out. Guess what? The cockroaches are probably around when you're not there. We need the exterminators there all the time. You're essential personnel. Put on your little mask and show up here.
In the exterminators' defense, this was like very early COVID in New York, which you may remember was like the hotbed of COVID activity in the early days. So
I didn't know that. Was it really?
Are you being sarcastic?
Yes, obviously. Point for me.
Okay. I thought so, just being clear. But yeah, so it was very much like everybody was terrified for their life at that point. So no shade to the exterminators. They do.
Yeah, okay, I'll give them that. Whatever.
Let's talk about another clown.
Oh, Another clown.
Harley Quinn, aka Harleen Quinn,
Lady
aka
Gaga.
Lady Gaga, who recently announced that she's putting out a companion album to accompany the release of her film Joker Folie Deux called Harlequin. Geoff, have you heard about this? Do you have any takes?
I saw all the promotional photos that she put on Instagram, I think yesterday or the day before. Actually, could have been even earlier. I don't really know. I haven't been online a lot this week, and I'm chronically online, so that's really saying something. But I did see the photos, and I think it's a cool concept. The thing about Gaga is that, like, even if I don't love the era that she's in, she's always giving. Like, her music is always good. Remember when she was doing A Star Is Born? I mean, who could forget when she did A Star Is Born? There could be 99 people in a room. No, there could be 100 people in a room.
Yeah, the promotional lead up to that film.
That was a lot. Who could forget it? But anyways, when she had those albums as her character from the film on the soundtrack, they were like bops. But people were like, oh my god, LOL, this is so silly and dumb. And I'm like, I don't think that they're bad at all. I think that they're actually fun pop songs. It was supposed to sound like manufactured pop.
What's the name of that song? Like Shallow?
Oh, well, that wasn't really what I was talking about, but Shallow's a good song.
Oh, you're talking about like in the universe of the film.
Yeah, like in the film, she had a couple of songs like Hair, Body, Face.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Isn't that the intention, right? Isn't she supposed
Right.
to be like a... Yeah.
See, back to our conversation about Katy Perry last week. Gaga does stuff with a wink, and like that was a perfect wink.
There was a fictional world that was going on in the universe of that film.
Yeah.
And I mean, then she also put out Shallow, which was like objectively an incredible song.
Yes.
And didn't that win the Oscar?
It did.
As deserved.
Yeah. So I'm excited for her new album. I think it's going to be really interesting and fun. And I'm assuming that this, because it's a companion album to the movie, that it's going to be like her in character as Harley Quinn. Dr. Harleen Quinn.
I don't know. I don't really know what to expect from this. So looking at the track list, it looks like it's a cover album. So she's doing covers.
Wait. I haven't seen a track list.
It appears that it's covers of previous, like, other artist songs.
Hey, showing up the gay.
I'm not sure whether she will be in character as Harley Quinn or if it's just like songs that are in like thematically similar to the themes of the movie, and she decided to cover them, because you don't hire Lady Gaga to be an actor in your movie if you don't want her to put out some songs in promotion. Right.
I mean, that's part of the deal.
Yeah. So I was actually kind of surprised that it took this long for her to announce this, because I mean, she just announced it this week and the album is coming out on Friday. So by the time that this episode is out, the album will be out.
True.
It's a pretty quick turnaround. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to listen to it. I think the covers, those are interesting. Get Happy. I think that these are absolutely going to be her in character now that I'm looking at the track list, because I have seen clips of Joker Folie Deux where she and Joaquin Phoenix are singing. It's like a quasi-musical.
Slight spoiler, but we are planning, I will say, no promises. We are planning to have a Folie Deux episode. So if and when we do, we'll probably talk about this album as well.
If and when we do Folie Deux,
we'll probably talk about this album.
Exactement. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to listen. That'll be very interesting.
Oh, quick note.
Uh-huh.
I will say, Lady Gaga has made some statements about the fact that this is considered like a Lady Gaga 6.5 album, implying that there is a Lady Gaga 7
month. Yeah.
Right. And I think she said in an interview that this first single from that album will be coming out in October. So we have that to look forward to.
Yes, I think I'm wrong. The single is going to be coming out in October, but the album drops in February, it sounds like. Well, I can't wait. You know I love Gaga. Big fan.
Well, let's talk about one of our other favorite pop stars, Chappell Roan.
Chappell.
So we haven't really talked about this on the pod because most of the storylines are kind of garbage surrounding this, I think. But she's been in the headlines of late because of her comments about the upcoming 2024 election.
Uh-huh.
So she made headlines when she said that she wouldn't visit Joe Biden in the White House before he dropped out of the race and Kamala took over.
Right. That was during GovBall.
Right. More recently, after Biden dropped out, she's talked about how she didn't want to endorse Harris. And a lot of the reasons why are because of the ongoing war in Gaza and her not supporting the war.
Mm-hmm.
So recently there's been a new headline, which is that I think it was like a TikTok live or an Instagram live video, Chappell basically said that she will vote for Harris, but she doesn't want to endorse Harris, which I think is like an interesting take for a pop star to make, right? It's like unusually transparent, right?
Right. Well, famously, Chappell has like no media training and it shows.
Exactly. And this reminds me this reminds me a lot of her statement that we talked about in a previous episode about like fans who are being weird, right? Where it's she's being unusually, letting people have a peek behind the curtain in a way that is not common for pop stars. So but anyways, what's your thoughts on this? Like,
I feel like pop stars don't owe us anything other than to like make good music. Like that's what I care about, like entertain, period. And I feel fully entertained by Chappell Roan. I think she's amazing. I don't need her to have a huge stance on politics, really. The only people who I think in some capacity like owe that to us are people like Beyonce and Taylor Swift, who are like titans of the industry and like hold a supreme amount of power and could like quite literally change the course of history through an endorsement. I think once you have that kind of a platform, maybe I feel more strongly that you should take stances and be political and not be afraid of that. But Chappell Roan, I mean, obviously she's a huge artist right now and she's blowing up. She's already made very clear like what her intention is, which is to like work on this project as it is known to her and just to entertain us. That basically she needs boundaries and needs to be able to have her own personal life. And like along with that privacy comes like the right to be private about your political views. I think what got her in hot water, if I'm remembering correctly, through all the ridiculous discourse, if you want to even call it that came out after this, was her saying there are issues on both sides. And I think that became like a rallying cry for the left because it reminded them very much of Trump saying about the Charlottesville riot that they were good people on both sides. I honestly think that was what the issue was.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a common thing during the Trump era, like his first administration, where people would be like, well, I don't like Trump, but both sides have problems. And I think what people have a problem with when it comes to that statement is equating the two sides, like saying that both sides, like the issues on both sides are equivalent.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that a lot of people called bullshit on that, rightfully so. But that ignores the context of what Chappell was saying when she made the remarks that she made. And I think that the statement that she put out where she said that she would vote for Kamala, she said explicitly, like, I'm just saying that, the Democrats' platform is also not ideal to me. Like, their platform also has problems to me.
And they do. It's like, she didn't say anything that's not true. I don't think there's a person in the world who's going to be voting in November who feels 100% that they can get behind every single thing that this current administration has done, or even maybe even on the other side. I don't know.
And I will say, I think it's an important point. Like, you mentioned that stars, like celebrities in popular culture do have power via endorsements, like explicitly endorsements, right? And I also think that celebrities potentially have power in withholding an endorsement. Like,
sure,
in a public-facing way, it's important if you withhold an endorsement from a candidate because you speak out about a specific issue. And Chappell has specifically spoken out about
trans rights.
Right, two issues. Right, gay rights, trans rights, LGBT rights in general, and Gaza.
Yes.
Like, those are the two things that she's spoken out about. And, the Harris campaign is weak on Gaza for a lot of liberals, So I think that she is savvier maybe than some other people who have kind of given up the Gaza fight for the sake of, well, we have to have Harris win because otherwise Trump will win, And that's the difference between an endorsement and voting for Harris, Like, I think that Chappell is not saying, like, oh, I'm voting for Trump. Like, I'm going to vote for Trump because I think that Harris's stance on Gaza is bad. She's saying, obviously, Harris is the better choice. However,
I'm holding my nose.
I don't agree with her position on Gaza, so I'm not going to endorse her.
Yep.
And I think that she has a right to do that,
100%. I mean, let's be real. She has the right to do whatever the hell she feels like. But I think that she has made very clear where she stands on issues. And I think that anybody with a functioning brain can kind of already figure out where she's going to fall on the political spectrum. And obviously, she's not voting for Donald Trump. That's something she's just never going to do. So it drives me crazy that this, 3-second clip is what people have just run with, and they ignore the context in which she said it and all that came before.
Full circle.
Oh, yeah, God.
Republicans don't have a monopoly on stupidity, especially on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just, use a little bit of critical thinking when thinking about stuff like this. I feel like it's just a lot of people on Twitter who have never even listened to a Chappell Roan song, and they're like, the youths like this girl, and she's going to vote for Trump.
What about the dead internet theory?
I love the dead internet theory. Especially, this is related to AI, one of our favorite Tech Corner topics.
I am afraid of the dead internet theory, Justin. It's very creepy, but I think that there's some merit to it.
Have you been on the internet lately? Because we're already halfway there.
I know.
A lot of like Twitter shit posters, and especially Facebook. Facebook is dominated by like AI content, bots.
Yep.
Do you want to describe what the dead internet theory is?
Well, yeah, so the dead internet theory is this theory that I think has been around for like a decade now or something like that. It's pretty old.
I would say since after the Russian bot interference storyline from the Trump election.
Yeah, I think this time 10 years ago, we were starting to see the rise of AI and bot stuff happening on Facebook promoting Trump. But yeah, so it's an older theory, but it's basically a thought that like something to the effect of like 90% or maybe even more, maybe it's 95% of the content produced on the internet is actually done by bots and by AI and, automated learning machines. And that's really terrifying to me.
I mean, it already is. And the thing that's sad is that people who want to make just like clickbait, engagement bait type content, they don't need to put in a lot of effort because there's a lot of AI tools to do so now. And it's not only that content is being generated, it's that now that type of content is also getting the most clicks because you can like target it towards people. And like the people who are like normal people posting on Twitter about like, hey, I saw Alien Romulus and I thought it was pretty good on Twitter. Like, that's not going to get any likes or responses or retweets.
Nope.
But, like, a bot being like,
you won't believe this insane scene from Alien Romulus.
Is Chappell Roan a Nazi?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I mean, it really is just like, I think it's symptomatic of the problems that we have with social media anyways,
Yeah, I don't like it at all. Very creepy.
But let's move on to a form of old media. The old television. One of your favorites.
Oh, Justin, you got a text message early in the day from me about this, and I have to tell you, I was completely verklempt. I'm very upset about it. Listeners to the pod will remember that I love the Today Show, and particularly the fourth hour with Hoda and Jenna. And on this fateful day, Hoda Kotb announced that she is retiring from the Today Show, effective after the first of the year, but that she'll still be in the NBC family. And while I'm very sad and my work from home mornings will not be the same without Hoda on my screen in 2025, I'm happy for her because she's choosing to spend more time with her very young family. So I think that that's great for her. She said today that she feels that her girls deserved a larger piece of her than she was able to give while she was working on the Today Show. So I'm happy for her, but I'm very sad for me and for millions of Americans across the world, I would say. Justin, Hoda's been a constant in our lives for 17 years now. I was just knee-high to a grasshopper when I started watching her on the TV.
Jeff, what's the pitch on Hoda? You've said that, like, I would like Hoda. I think I remember you saying this.
Yeah.
Why is she a singular host on the Today Show?
Hoda has fun auntie energy.
Mm-hmm.
She feels like the fun aunt who is a little bit older and has money, and she's kind of savvy and sophisticated, and she'd be like, hey, I'm taking you out of school on Friday, and we're going to drive into the city and watch a show and go to my favorite restaurant in Midtown. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, she's got that like kind of fun energy. She says yes. She says yes and. Consummate rule of improv. Point for me. She is just also a great listener, a great interviewer. She really gets down to brass tacks and asks people, I would say, hard-hitting questions. I think that her journalistic prowess is something that should be admired, and she's just personable. And, I feel like I know her. Of course, we've talked a lot about parasocial relationships. I've seen Hoda Kotb in person several times when I was in New York. I've never approached her because why do I need to do that? See, Justin, I have good boundaries.
You're a normal person. Yeah.
Celebs are just like us. We can observe them, but we don't need to be interrupting their day to be like, hi, and then what? What do you say after that?
Don't ask me. I'm terrible with celebrities. I get starstruck very easily.
I wouldn't know what to say. But anyways, so I'm very sad Hoda's leaving the Today Show, but I'm very happy for her and her family.
It's sad. I never watched the Today Show, but I know this is very important
you're
to you.
saying it's sad, but I don't feel like the gravity of this moment is really hitting you. Who's your favorite? Oh, let me think here. Who is your favorite podcaster? I already know the answer.
Geoff is expecting me to say PJ Vogt.
You want to suck PJ Vogt's dick so bad. It's crazy.
You know, it's not my fault that the podcast is so good, but he's actually not my favorite podcaster.
Okay, who's your favorite podcaster?
I would say, and I've been saving this as a future what's good for a slow week, but I really love the podcast Triple Click. It's a video game podcast that's like not the gamer with a lowercase g instead of a capital G.
Love that.
They're pretty normal people.
A gamer like me.
Exactly. They're very cool and chill. I love those three hosts. It's Jason Schreier, Kirk Hamilton, and Maddie Myers. Great trio of hosts. Those would be my favorite podcasters.
Well, I want you to imagine that Maddie, Kirk, and Jason. Did I get their names right?
Yeah.
Imagine they said, you know what? It's been a good run, fam, but we're done with this podcast now. We're moving on. How would you feel?
I'd be sad. Yeah. I'd be disappointed. Yeah. It's just like a presence in your life. I think that, it's a good comparison, podcasting, because the Today Show, it's every weekday, right? So
every weekday.
Yeah, that's a lot of hearing someone's voice, even more than like a pop star, an artist who maybe you listen to an album a year max. So it's a big presence leaving your life. So I'm just saying I sympathize. I understand.
Yeah, it feels like one of your favorite work colleagues is like moving on or something like that.
Got a new position.
Yeah. So that's a bummer. I don't know who they're going to replace her with. She and Jenna have such great chemistry together. And I really like Jenna Bush Hager. I really like her. And I will say she's a liberal in terms of her politics, family aside.
If you were to pitch a new host of the Today Show,
who
would you pick?
Oh, this is a fun game. It's also a hard game.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very specific skill set.
It is, because you're not only playing interviewer, but you're also playing like air traffic controller.
Also like podcaster in some ways, where it's like you got to fill time, you got to talk, you got to be able to talk casually.
You've got to be able. You've got to have the gift of gab. You've got to like look the part. It doesn't mean you have to be a supermodel. It just means you have to be like put together, in a certain way. You have to have like the charisma. You have to have the chemistry between you and the other host. That part is so important because it's really apparent when they don't mesh. There's some things that just really can't be faked. I don't know exactly who I'd pick. You know who would be really fun as... Actually, I think I know. I would pick Michelle Collins. Do you know that comedian?
No.
Michelle Collins? Listeners might know her from her like independent comedy work, but she has been a guest host on several different shows, and she was on The View for... I think like a year or one season, but she is really great. She would be a great host for the Today Show, specifically the 4th hour with Jenna. I feel like she and Michelle would get along really well. I think a fun thing that would really mix things up and certainly bring in like a younger audience would be Z-Way.
I know Z-Way. Yeah, that would be wild.
It would be really different, and I think it could be fun. I would love to see Z-Way do like guest hosting. Or you know who would also be good? Justin Keke Palmer.
Keke Palmer would be great. I think she would be a great fit. I feel like Z-Way she would have such a... Do you think she'd be able to be serious for long enough? Like,
that's the thing that I think would be interesting. It would almost be like a tension of like Z-Way is like breaking the fourth wall a bit, and like, because morning TV is ridiculous. Like, it's so dumb and silly.
But everybody is also like mostly playing it straight, and like there are moments where like people break, you know what I mean? But,
and Hoda breaks sometimes, which is fun.
Right. And that's fun, but it's different than like the like kind of metatextual stuff that Z-Way does, where it's it's weird, yeah. Like
for Z-Way, it would definitely be like a bit. She's doing like a very long bit.
Right.
I mean, morning TV is kind of crazy and ridiculous, so I think there's very few people who could do it well. Keke Palmer, I know she was on Good Morning America for a short time. I don't know why it didn't really work out with her, but she would be great too. So Michelle Collins or Keke Palmer, I think. Seriously, and if they wanted to really spice things up and change the whole ethos of the show, Z-Way would also be cool.
Well, I'm kind of hoping for a Z-Way guest host. That would be great.
It would be fun. Z-Way needs to have her TV show back. We need to listen to this. Showtime. I have a bone to pick with the executives at Showtime.
This isn't the first time that you've said this, I think.
I think you're right. I want their heads on a spike, I would say, because they canceled Z-Way. They canceled I Love That For You. Those were two of my favorite shows, and shows that I thought were so smart and so hilariously funny for very different reasons. And I just can't wrap my head around why. Because what the fuck else does Showtime have going on? What do they have going on? They're showing movies that other people made. They're not giving us good original content. I watched a show that they tried to promote. They were trying to promote the show to the LGBT community. And it was about a police detective who worked in Provincetown. And they didn't even shoot it in Provincetown.
Boo.
Yeah, boo. Yeah, boo. I said, oh my god, my people. But then I was like, but cops? That's interesting.
You're like, you almost had me.
Yeah, almost had me fooled, Mr. Spears. Death to all of them. Death to all the Showtime executives.
Listeners, note that Geoff is calling for the death of multiple Showtime workers.
Put their heads on a spike.
And with that, let's take a quick break before we get into a brand new Hot or Not segment.
I'm getting hot right now. That's what I'm getting. Let's take a break.
All right, we'll be right back.
And we're back.
We're so back.
And we're so ready to talk hot or not.
We are. This is one of my favorite segments where we decide whether a topic is hot or not.
This is one of your favorite segments. I feel like you've been rearing to go for another.
Yeah, and I think we do, I will say, some of these are a little bit of a stretch, like weddings. We all knew the weddings were going to be hot, right? We knew. This one, I think, is a little bit more controversial because I think that Geoff and I, we both agree that summer is hot, right?
Oh, yeah.
Both literally and figuratively.
Love summer.
But I will say there is a bit of a battle between the homebodies who love the autumnal tones, the pumpkin spices, and they were, getting ready for fall maybe a little bit earlier than some of the summer girlies really liked, before Brat Summer was really over. So I think this might be a little controversial.
This could be a little controversial. I'll just say, I think our hot or nots are a fun bit, but I also think it's so dumb, and I love it.
It's very dumb, but that's why we do the show.
It's so good. I know. I love it. I think it's so funny to be dumb and silly.
So, Geoff, fall.
Yeah, fall. Well, here's what I think about this. This year, I have to tell you, I felt like, here's my problem. Just in general, me as a person. One of my many problems is that I have an extremely short attention span at baseline. And very often I have a difficult time living in the moment. I'm always thinking about what's next. And so while I very much enjoyed my summer, I felt like, particularly because of the weather this year, which in the Northeast, it was like hot in the end of May.
Yep.
And it stayed hot. Just ask my electric bill. Until the beginning of this month in September. So I felt like summer was extremely long this year. I am generally one of those people who's like, fall does not start until the autumnal equinox on September 21st or 22nd, depending on the year. This year, I was a bit of an early adapter because I was like, I've had a very brat summer and I've had a very full and long summer.
So you were ready for the end of summer.
I kind of was. I mean, I think that's in our group chat of like 10 of our friends. I think that was kind of the conversation, is that people were like, wait a second now. You're always a person who's like, it's still fucking summer. And this year, now suddenly you're turning it on a dime.
Well, you were, okay, this was a funny conversation we had because this is a great opening place, I think, because you were decorating your apartment for fall. And you sent some pictures of the decor.
And
right?
Wasn't it adorable?
It was adorable, but it was also like, I think it was like late August, early September that you sent these pictures.
Yes, it was early September, not August.
But firmly summer by the calendar.
Yes. And by my general standards, because remember we talked about 9/11. It was a summer event.
I think a lot of people were like, why are you rushing fall? Like, I'm still having summer, you know? Like, why are you rushing the fall season?
Well, because I didn't summer as hard as I did. That's reason number one. So let's just get that out of the way.
Okay.
My summer was very brat.
It was, as we've discussed last week.
Yeah. So I think that is why people were like not ready for summer to be done.
Yeah, I think that like again, I mentioned this last week, but the idea of summer is this idea of freedom and having like more free time and being able to, I mean, and in reality, you can go outside more often. You can do more things outside because it's warm, depending on where you live.
Yep.
If it's not too warm. People don't want that era of freedom to end. And I think September, because we all have been like brainwashed by decades of school, is always like back to school vibes. And like, okay, now we have to be like sad and be inside.
The shackles come clambering out and they secure themselves firmly around us, making us slaves to school and work, Justin. That's what these people would have you believe.
People don't want to rush the end of that season.
I reject it. I don't believe in that.
Nobody is mad about rushing from fall to winter. Nobody's mad about rushing from winter to spring. You know what I mean? Like,
guess what? Guess what, Justin? Guess what's going to happen the day after Thanksgiving, or in some people's homes, the day of Thanksgiving?
Christmas lights.
Christmas lights, honey. They're going to pull them out. Okay, hang your stockings next to the fire. You hear the sleigh bells on all the doors, all the shops, Black Friday shops. Guess what? Black Friday shopping. We got jingle bells on the door, Justin. Guess what, Justin? It's still firmly fall. In the midst of the season, I might add, because winter doesn't start until the 21st of December.
I mean, drugstores started carrying Halloween candy in August. Like, they are the kings of starting the season early, You know
what? You know who else is really, really pushing it this year? Mind you, we're recording on September 26th. I went to Walmart because I was in Groton getting drinks with my former coworkers yesterday. And I said, I'll just run right up the street. We were at Olio. I said, I'll run right up the street and go to Walmart because I got to get some oat milk on my way home. Justin, I went in to check out the seasonal section. Christmas trees.
Oh, no.
Christmas cards. Menorahs. Kwanzaa.
Do you think people are buying?
Yes! Because why else would these retailers have it in stock? They have it in stock because they know it's going to move.
Okay, I have a take about this. And I think that it has to do with why people are buying. So
because of the retailers.
I think that it might also be slightly age-related.
Okay.
So I think that, like, when I was younger, I had this impulse to be like, it's so, like, why are people so excited to decorate for fall or so excited to decorate for winter? Like, chill. The time will come. Why are you rushing it? Yeah. But I also think... And I think part of that is because I was like, why does any of this matter? Like, that's so meaningless to decorate or whatever. Like, chill. Now that I'm a little bit older, I've learned that now that I don't have these, like, natural breaks in life. When you're in school, you have these natural breaks, whether it be, like, winter break or summer break. Your life is kind of
Columbus
built around
weekend.
those breaks.
Remember we still celebrated that motherfucker?
Yes. And, like, you're kind of like, well, that's when I celebrate. That's when it's winter to me. That's when it's summer to me is when these breaks happen. But as an adult, you kind of have to make your own rhythm. And I think that, like, having these silly little rituals every year, and I'm using silly in quotes, because a lot of stuff that I do is silly and that everybody does is silly, but it, like, creates meaning in your life. Like, you have to create your own meaning.
Yeah.
And I think that people treat, like, decorating their space seasonally as one of those rituals, right?
100%. I'm
like, listen, do what you need to do so that you're not deeply depressed about the meaninglessness of existence. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty dark take, but I don't think it's wrong.
If you gotta buy Christmas ornaments in October, that's a little dark, but do you?
I feel that we have, as a society, been conditioned by retailers to have this mindset that I was just describing myself having, where it's like you're always looking at the next thing. What's coming up the pike? Mm-hmm. What's next? What's the next thing that we can sell? And in this case, it's Christmas ornaments in September. People literally just got back to school. They're just getting into their routines at school, and we're talking about Christmas vacation already. Pretty wild stuff. It is wild. But back to fall.
Yeah, let's get into... So I think this was more of a conversation about the passing of the seasons, which I think is interesting.
The passing of time.
But let's talk about some fall-specific stuff that is a little bit controversial. So Geoff, how do you feel about the pumpkin spice phenomenon?
I love the spices that comprise pumpkin spice. Allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon. It's great.
I wish you could see. I wish you guys could have seen Jeff's delivery on that list of spices. It was wild.
Well, Justin, we do need to pivot to video. It's a visual. Podcasting is a visual medium, as we've discussed many times.
Coming soon.
Well, you heard it here first, kids. Justin said it, so it's happening. I love that, but the flavors that these coffee shops in particular are telling us are pumpkin spice are just not quite right, I would say. You know how I feel about this like I feel about fruit flavored candy.
Okay.
The spirit of the flavor might be there somewhere, but it's really not the same. You ever tasted a grape candy that tasted like grapes? What about cherries that taste like cherry? Cherry flavored candies.
What even is the blue flavor? What's blue raspberry?
Blue raspberry? Those don't
That's
exist,
not a real
Mama.
Flavor. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. There's blackberries.
There's even blueberries.
Black raspberries, and there's blueberries, but there's no blue raspberry.
None of them are remotely close to that color of blue.
No, they're certainly not. Let's talk about that too. Blueberries. When you bite into them, I would say that they're like a very deep red-violet color.
Yeah, I guess so.
What's blue about that?
I'm wondering if I've Berenstein Bared the inside of a blueberry. Hold on.
And also the inside of the blueberry is sometimes like clearish green.
That's the color that I'm thinking of. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah, it's like kind of like a pear color, like a whitish, a very pale green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nearly transparent.
Okay, let's go back to fall though. So pumpkin spice. You had a thing about pumpkin spice.
Well, pumpkin spice flavoring from Starbucks, from Dunkin' Donuts, other places, the rest doesn't really taste like pumpkin at all.
Well, this is something that I'm fascinated by. So
yeah.
I'll say I'm not yucking anybody's yum. Like if you like pumpkin spice, do it.
Look, I like it.
I'm not drinking pumpkin spice all the time. I'm a pretty consistent.
Not all the time.
When it comes to my coffee order, if I'm getting a flavor, it's usually like hazelnut, which I don't think has a season. That's usually a year-round flavor. But pumpkin spice, Starbucks in particular, has gotten some shit for the pumpkin spice flavor. For a long time, it didn't have any pumpkin in it. And that was kind of like when it became a phenomenon that it is today. And then after, quote-unquote, controversy/discourse, which is just like idiots online complaining about Starbucks flavors when it's like, get a hobby, do literally anything else. But people were complaining, and I guess they added pumpkin puree to their syrup. And I have heard some takes that addition actually made it worse. But what do you think?
Here's the thing. I have had the old pumpkin spice and the new. The old gods and the new. And I prefer the old. Okay, if we're talking about pumpkin spice, that to me is really pumpkin pie spice.
It's the spice that you put on pumpkin things.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily pumpkin.
Pumpkin doesn't have a great flavor on its own, which is why everything with pumpkin is so heavily seasoned.
Big Pumpkin is behind the use of pumpkin and all these things.
Big Pumpkin. This is like when Kale rebranded.
Yeah, I mean, but Big Pumpkin has been behind it for so long because otherwise, why are we using pumpkin and all this stuff? It doesn't taste like anything.
Justin, you're so smart. Sometimes I really forget how smart you are. Because that is so true. This is literally the rebranding of Kale come anew.
It predated Kale, though. That's what's wild. Like, this has been for decades. Yeah.
Has it been for decades? I feel like the first time I had a pumpkin spice anything was in high school at Starbucks.
This goes deeper than pumpkin spice, Jeff. That's what I'm saying. This is pumpkin, the use of pumpkin in like pumpkin pie and Thanksgiving. You know?
Oh my God.
You
Justin, you might be right. Well, I will say, pumpkin is a uniquely American thing. And by American, I don't mean United States. I mean the North and South continents.
Absolutely.
There's not that many squashes that don't originate from the New World, if you will. Anyways, when I'm having something with pumpkin spice, the only flavors I want are as follows: cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, clove. That's it. That's what I want to taste. And that is a winning combination. That's what makes pumpkin pie delicious.
Those are warming spices. So I think it fits the fall season, you know?
Oh, you ever muddle those on a stovetop to scent your home, Justin?
Ooh, a mulled wine, perhaps, with some of those spices?
A mulled wine, absolutely. Mulled wine is great. I feel like mulled wine is prime for a comeback.
I had one of my worst hangovers of all time from mulled wine.
Was it the one that I made at our New Year's house one time?
It was not. It was a grad school party that was similarly around the holidays, but yeah, it was way too much star anise. And I think, star anise, star anise.
I say anise, but I think people say it both ways. Or I could be saying it wrong, but I prefer to say anise because anise sounds like a name, or you're describing a relative.
Anise, so,
yeah, I don't like that. Star anise, you got to be careful with because it's very overpowering, that deep licorice flavor that it has. And I also am not a huge licorice person.
Same.
Very rarely do I want to taste that.
But sometimes it surprises me. When it's like subtle in a dish or in a drink, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, that could be good. That could be good.
Right.
Do you remember that very brief phase in time, you might not, when I was obsessed with absinthe?
I do.
Yeah.
Geoff, I do. That was so short. That was so
very
short.
It was probably I would say 2 weeks, but I was obsessed. And
yeah, because it was a bad idea. It was a terrible idea.
It really was. But I really hyped it up. It was not good.
It's bad.
And it certainly did not give us any kind of fun hallucinations. That was a marketing gimmick. It was a lie.
That's a whole thing.
I don't even think there was real wormwood in it.
That's a whole other topic. Yeah, actually, the hallucinogenic aspects of wormwood were
greatly overblown, I might say.
Well, it's not that they were overblown. They were made illegal to put into drinks. So, absinthe was illegal in the U.S. for a period of time because of the hallucinogenic properties of wormwood.
Has our country ever done anything right? I think it's a question worth asking.
Let's go back to pumpkin spice because we really took a turn there. And did you have a take about pumpkin puree in Starbucks pumpkin spice syrup?
Oh, just that I agree with the general consensus that their new pumpkin spice is worse. And I don't really believe that I would like to see some percentage breakdowns of how much pumpkin puree they claim is in this.
It's probably a tiny fraction of the syrup.
Infinitesimal.
And it's just to silence the haters online, where it's if you're a hater of Starbucks online for a reason as stupid as pumpkin spice,
you need to get it together.
Yeah. Not to be boomer, but get a job.
Touch grass. There's so much grass outside. I'm looking at a lot of grass right now out my windows. Go and touch some of it.
Touch literally any grass, one blade.
Justin, it could also be dead internet people.
Imagine, oh my god, if companies start making decisions based on bots, yeah.
Who's to say they haven't already, Justin? And I'm not kidding.
I'm sure they have.
I'm being completely serious.
No,
to what extent has that already occurred?
I'm sure it's happened.
To what extent?
Because I think that companies are weird about online backlash. I don't know. And I think really what it is shareholders are weird about online backlash. If shareholders see a headline, they're like, oh, selling the share. We don't know.
Yeah. You know what it's like? It's like when you have a boss who thinks they're really in touch with things. They read one article about some nonsense, and then they're like, we're changing our strategy because I read it here.
And they're like, it could be nothing, but just in case I'll sell. Yeah.
Yeah. What about this? Do you remember? You probably don't remember because it was very short-lived, but I remember because I worked there. Famously, when I was in college, I worked at Gap part-time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Gap rebranded their iconic logo. They were one of the first people to
I remember this.
Do the de-branding where they made everything a simple sans serif font.
Post Abercrombie. Yeah.
Right. So they were we're not going down like A&F did. They said, we're rebranding, we're pivoting, we're going to bring in a newer audience. The amount of hate that they rightfully got from their rebranding, I would say de-branding, online, they pivoted within 2 weeks, and they sent out memos to the stores being discontinue all new signage, get rid of all the new bags. It was crazy.
It's an emergency.
They pivoted.
It's so stupid. I'm sorry. Everything is so stupid.
Everything.
Go on.
That's it.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
I just wanted to tell that little anecdote.
I guess threading the needle is determining when an upswell like that is genuine and people actually care about it versus just people who are way too online and need to argue about something.
And how do you qualify that?
Yeah, it's hard. I guess you just have to...
It's just done by volume.
You just have to hire me or Geoff and pay us at least 7 figures, and then we'll be able to tell you... We will tell you what is real and what is AI.
Justin, should we work at McKinsey?
I think so, personally, but,
I feel like we could get a job there because we're really selling this.
McKinsey...
And this sounds like their business strategy.
Just... Famously, McKinsey's never had any controversial business strategies in the past. Yeah.
They are a pristine company that has never done anything morally
wrong.
Questionable.
Never. So anyways, shoot us a call. bantspod@gmail.com.
We're now internationally acclaimed.
Internationally acclaimed. And that goes for any listener who has a question or a concern or anything that you want to tell us or that you want us to talk about on the show.
Anything. Oh, you know what would be fun? I want to know where else our listeners are listening from. So can you guys all comment, just like our friend from Germany, Brett, did? And let us know where you're listening from. Are you, I don't know, in Boise, Idaho? Are you, I don't know, in Wallingford, Connecticut? Perhaps Princeton, New Jersey? I'd love to know. Please comment. Let us know where you're listening from. We'll wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that
Appreciate
comment.
you doing that.
Yeah, we love that. Let's get back to fall.
I forgot that's what we were talking about, as I'm wont to do.
Two of the most iconic American holidays take place in fall.
Oh, they really are very iconic and very American.
Halloween
Very
and
American.
Thanksgiving.
Yes. Well, I should asterisk that remark. Halloween, as I know it, is very American.
Right. I mean, American Halloween do be American, right? And that's what we're talking about here is
Truly.
American Halloween as two Americans here. Geoff, what do you think about these holidays? How do they stack up across the lineup of American holidays across all the seasons?
You know what? These are top three.
Both
These
of
are
them.
top three holidays.
So
Justin.
2 out of 3 of the top 3 holidays are fall holidays.
Fall days, I might say.
Oh.
I love Halloween. It's the one day of the year that you can dress like a slut and no one can say anything about it.
Very Mean Girls of you.
Point for me. But what I do love about Halloween, actually, you know what? Oh, I'm feeling verklempt again because now I'm feeling sad. Halloween's so different now than it was when we were growing up.
Really? Say more.
Trick-or-treating door to door is not so much of a thing anymore because of safety.
Is it really not as much of a thing?
No, it really isn't.
I don't know a lot of
is not
people
as
that
much
have
of a
like
thing.
trick-or-treating age kids, you know?
I mean, you know, I'm only 29, so I don't either know that many people. But like my cousins who are older than me, their kids, I don't really think that they do trick-or-treating as we know it. They do a lot of trunk-or-treats.
Oh, that's interesting.
So they're often organized by like libraries and other nonprofit organizations, and it's like promoted as like a safer alternative to trick-or-treating than going door to door to people's homes, which like understandably there's like some risk in that and some scariness that could occur. So the trunk or treats, people like sign up ahead of time, tell the library, hi, I'm gonna come and I'm bringing whatever, candy, healthy snacks, or things like pencils, or candy.
Yay.
Yeah, and start the cheering children. And then they open up their trunk, and then they have all that stuff in there, and the kids go from trunk to trunk in like this parking lot and pick up their goodies, and then they go home. Does that sound like fun to you?
I don't think so. It's not fun to me. Can I ask a question which may be related to your tirade, which is,
Oh, yeah.
how
Please do.
real are the safety concerns when it comes to trick-or-treating?
Well, Justin, I'm so glad that you asked, because you know that I think that a lot of it is a bunch of horse shit.
It's a lot of fear-mongering. Like, you always see, like, one instance of, like...
Tampered candy?
Yeah, like tampered candy, like razor blades in the Snickers.
Razor blades? Yeah. Oh, remember that? Remember that in the 90s when they'd be like, razor blades were found in an apple? Firstly, how did you not fucking see that, is what I'd like to know. How did you not see that razor blade in the apple? I'd really like to know that. Apples are notoriously fragile fruits.
I don't understand the motive. Like, I understand, like, kidnapping children. That happens. It's real. No denying that.
100%.
There's a motive.
Sexual abuse for children.
Right.
Absolutely real.
It's real. Why are you poisoning and or putting razors in a candy? Like, what's the end goal? I don't understand.
Here's the thing. It is mostly a hoax. And the media ran with it. And then PTAs and PTOs across the world ran with the story that they were putting razor blades and poison and other crazy shit, lacing it with, you know, drugs and sleeping pills and all kinds of craziness.
Yeah.
And it's mostly demonstrably false. The amount of instances of that actually happening are extremely small. The chances of that happening are, again, to use this word today, infinitesimally small.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a real concern. But also, here's what I want to know. How are any of those terrible things going to happen to your children if you're going trick-or-treating with them?
I feel like even when I was a kid and when you were a kid, like, our parents came with us to trick-or-treat,
100%.
right?
My parents were not dropping me off in a strange neighborhood and let me go around by
This
myself.
isn't the 60s. This isn't the 70s.
Yeah.
Like,
We're not living in unlocked door America.
yeah.
Okay?
Even that's been the case for generations. So I don't really understand.
100%.
Yeah, I don't really understand what the fear is. I feel like it might be a neighborhood dependent thing. And also, as somebody who's lived in like a major urban center for a few years, the trick-or-treating scene in DC and New York is like very different than it was in Connecticut. You know?
Sure.
In Connecticut, a lot of kids would like be driven to suburban cul-de-sacs to do trick-or-treating. Like, I'm thinking of, you know, like on 184, that neighborhood like where Ken and Sean live, right?
Uh-huh.
People would drive there and go trick-or-treating there. In New York or DC, you would go to an area that's a little bit more suburban vibes, you know, and go trick-or-treating
Like the
there.
West Village.
Right. Or in DC, like Cleveland Park, right? You go there and you go trick-or-treating there. So I think that's another option that people do, for sure.
Yes. And I do want to say, I understand I am approaching this conversation with an amount of privilege that some people do not have, right? So there are some people who don't, like you said, don't live in a safe neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people who like literally don't live in an area where this is even a possibility. Maybe they live way out in the boonies in a rural area. Maybe they live in the inner city, and that may not be the best option to like try to go trick-or-treating around that area.
Is trick-or-treating just like a suburban phenomenon? It's kind of weird that it has been marketed as like a monoculture thing when it turns out that a lot of people can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very like Norman Rockwell-esque, you know?
Yeah.
Like an idealized version of American society.
But let's talk about Halloween as adults, because, you know, trick-or-treating is all well and good. But I will say Halloween has consistently been my favorite holiday as an adult.
Yeah.
And that's because...
And tell me why, yeah.
It's kind of like a countrywide theme party, which I love. And it's maybe the only adult holiday that is just dedicated to, like, basically having a party. Because as an adult, you're only dressing up for a party. You're not just dressing up because it's Halloween. I mean, maybe you are. And that's fun. That's great. But I think that most people are going to a Halloween party. And that's why they're dressing up. And it's basically just like the party holiday.
100%.
Yeah.
Justin, famously, I love a theme party. And I mean, how many theme parties have I planned or tried to make happen?
I could not count. I don't know. A lot.
Like, it's probably many dozens.
Right.
Very few of them have transpired. However, Halloween always happens every year. And so I love that. I love an opportunity to dress up. Why not? And by dress up, I do mean in a character.
Right. And people who wouldn't normally dress up, like for whatever theme party that you're trying to plan, are gonna dress up for Halloween because of peer pressure. You know?
Absolutely.
Peer pressure sometimes. And I guess maybe this is just like peer pressure has a negative connotation, so maybe there's like a positive version of this word. But sometimes peer pressure is good.
I think so too. I think we could use a little bit more of healthy peer pressure in the world. I'm not saying to do drugs. Hey, come here. You want a cigarette, kid? We're not talking about that kind of peer pressure.
You know what kind of peer pressure I'm talking about is...
What? Tell me.
Throwback to the clubbing episode. Peer pressure to get into it.
Get into it.
Get into it. And on Halloween, everybody's into it.
And you know what I'm not fucking with? People who are not into it at a Halloween party. If you're coming looking like Joe Regular, see yourself to the door. You are not welcome here. You have no powers here.
Red flag. It's a red flag.
Red flag.
It's like, so you're telling me there's no fun. It's like you're telling me you're just not a fun person.
Oh, so you have zero personality or imagination. Interesting. Good to know that about you.
Okay. Gonna have a conversation with literally anyone else at this party.
Literally anyone else. I'd rather talk to a dog.
Yeah.
I'd rather talk to someone's baby who they brought to a adult Halloween party for some reason.
Even if you're somebody who like doesn't have taste, you know, just get like a onesie.
Do something. Yeah, go to Walmart, pick up a Bert and Ernie onesie and throw it on, or a Pikachu or Elmo onesie, throw it on.
Get one of those T-Rex inflatable things that I find inexplicably funny for some reason. Get one of those.
Those really are so funny, and I'm glad you said that because I don't understand why I find them funny every time, and I really do.
They're so stupid and they're so funny.
Justin, you know what else I think is so funny? The Minions. The Minions. I want to see Minions costumes this year, Justin. I want to see them.
Geoff, I dare you to be a minion for Halloween this year.
I'm not doing that. I already have my costume.
Oh, okay. Of course. Yeah. We've talked about Halloween costume plans. Yeah.
We have talked about Halloween costume. You know I like to plan mine months in advance. Remember I asked everybody in June what their Halloween costume was, and everyone basically told me to fuck off.
Everybody was like, what the fuck?
Oh, Justin, let's talk about this on the pod. And I know our friends are listening. So I'm going to call them all out.
Oh. Okay.
I'm not calling them in and having inclusive language. I'm calling them out. Remember when we all agreed? Justin.
I'm a part of this. I'm a part of this as well.
You are a part of this, and I'm calling you out too. We all agreed we were all going to dress up as Fran Fine, a.k.a. the nanny, and we were all going to pick our favorite iconic looks of hers, and that's what we were doing as a group costume for Halloween. Remember that?
Geoff, I do.
Remember that?
I do.
What happened with that?
Would you like me to defend myself or talk about the...
You know what? Why don't you speak on behalf of all of the people who didn't get into it, which, by the way, was your rule. Point for me.
Yeah, no, you're right. You know, personally, I can only speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a great idea, and it still is a great idea. The idea to all dress up as Fran Fine. However...
Yes.
Perhaps for somebody who has a larger budget than I had, because the outfit that I chose, which was like a designer Ralph Lauren crop top, was going to be what I was going to wear, Fran's outfit. I did look into purchasing it. It was not financially feasible for me. And I also realized, for me to like really embody Fran Fine at the level where we would be recognizable as a group of Frans, I would need to spend a lot of money. That's basically what I realized. And I was like, I'm not prepared to spend that amount of money. So I was like, I think I'm going to go ahead. And I will say, I did what I think was like a passable Amy Winehouse costume that year. It was fun. It was still a little bit left of center. I thought it was appropriate. That's my defense. I can't speak for everybody, though.
Justin, I appreciate you putting that into context for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be very sensitive to your and everyone else's financial situation.
Well, okay, let me be clear. I think that somebody who has more skill in designing a Halloween costume,
sure, and
maybe making things work. Like, I'm not really a crafter, you know, so I need to buy something that I can just put on and it can be a costume. If I had more skill, I may have been able to make it work on a budget.
So we agree that you're a skillless flop who couldn't get into it and didn't even make an attempt because they were afraid of failing.
Are you going to say point for me because I'm waiting?
I'm waiting for you to agree or disagree.
I agree with the skillless flop.
Point for me. Fuck yeah. Double points. I win the whole game. It's done.
I do feel bad about that one because we have been talking about it for a long time. Yeah.
We have been talking about it for literally a year.
And it still is a good idea.
New Year's.
Listeners can feel free to steal that idea.
No, they can't. Just kidding. I would love for everybody to do that. I really still want to do it, and that was the one costume I was like, wow, I'm so glad everybody was into this idea because we all were super hungover at our New Year's house and we were watching The Nanny and everyone was like, oh my god, this is a great show. And The Nanny for me was one of my formative shows. My sense of comedy and humor, I would say, like, stemmed from that show. And so I was so thrilled that I shared it with people and people were into it.
It's a great show.
For us to like talk about it for so long and for it to not happen, I don't know that I'll ever recover.
Well, let's move on to Thanksgiving.
I want to say one more thing about Halloween.
Okay, go ahead.
I love going out that time of year because it's a little ooky spooky. It's a little bit chilly, but then you get in the bar and it's hot and it's sweaty in there because there's so many people out because everyone loves an opportunity to go out for Halloween.
It's so this is why it's my favorite holiday.
I love that dichotomy. It's so fun. The cold to the hot, the quiet to the loud. And then you know what else I love about Halloween? Because for the last few years, it's Ben's birthday, and I always come down to DC. We do our fun little DC outing.
That's right.
And we get to do karaoke, which is another one of my favorite activities.
Ooh, we still have to do a karaoke hut or not, for sure.
Yeah. And we get to celebrate Ben. So it's like 3 of my favorite things all in one weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I fucking love it.
It's probably my favorite holiday as an adult. But Thanksgiving, that's the other fall holiday.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What do you think about Thanksgiving, Justin? Tell me about your childhood Thanksgivings, and then tell me about your today Thanksgivings.
My childhood Thanksgivings. Oh man.
Let's hear about it. Let's get to the root to your trauma.
My trauma.
Your trauma.
Okay, here's what I'll say. I'm cooler on Thanksgiving than I am on Halloween.
All right. Fair.
I love food.
Yeah.
As you know. I love eating. However,
it's a big mouth.
Thanksgiving's a weird holiday because, for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like you're always meeting up. It's always a family holiday. Like, Halloween is not like I'm going home for Halloween. Halloween is like I am in DC or New York or wherever I'm living. I'm going out. I'm partying. Thanksgiving is not like that. Thanksgiving is always undermined, or there's a shadow of whatever family drama happens to be happening that year over that Thanksgiving.
Oh.
And
interesting. A lot of drama in your family?
Well, it's like minor drama. You know, I'm not necessarily involved in the drama, but other people are, and I have to be there.
Justin said, I'm a cool girl. I'm above the drama.
Well, I'm the classic member of my family who is like...
You're the peacekeeper.
I'm always coming in from some other location. You know, I'm not like deeply involved in the family dynamics day to day, like some people in my family are.
Name them. Just kidding.
So I'm coming in, I'm always visiting home, right? And I'm like, oh shit, I guess there's drama happening. Wasn't aware of this.
What kinds of drama when you're talking about drama?
Like minor family feuds, you know. This person in my family is not hanging out with this person in my family, so that's why they're not at the party, for example.
Oh, I see. Okay. The classic cold shoulder.
Yeah. Or sometimes there's like stuff that comes out at the gathering if somebody's drinking too much at Thanksgiving, you know.
Ooh.
That does happen.
What an interesting time.
And Thanksgiving is also like, usually the meal takes place in the early afternoon, I would say, like 2 or 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel that is also coincides with a lot of alcohol being served. And it's a little bit too early, I think, most times for a lot of that alcohol to be served. And that leads to a lot of interesting situations.
It surely does. You know, I never, as you can attest, have felt like, oh, can't drink before 5 o'clock. But I do feel like for certain people, that's a good rule to have in place. Because at 5 o'clock, you can start drinking what I would consider to be too much starting at 5. And by like 8 o'clock, it's dark outside, especially at Thanksgiving. Ooh, honey, the Northeast. Ooh, it's dark at 5 o'clock, 5:15, the sun sets. So by 8 o'clock, you're way too drunk, you're being obnoxious, you're being annoying, and probably offensive, and your circadian rhythm is telling you it's time for bed, Miss Girl.
So you're out. You're out.
So you're out. Done. So for some people, I think that 5 o'clock rule thing is actually like really good. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. And here's the other thing is that it's a day-long holiday, and not in a fun way, where it's like usually I'm working in some way. Like I'm making a dish. And, you know, we talked last episode about how work can be good, you know.
Yeah.
But I have memories of when I was a kid of just like, okay, I have to be awake early to watch the Macy's Day Parade, which I will say, not that interesting, generally. It's just like a lot of balloons. Not interested in that. While my family members make food, you know.
Sure.
Now that I've started cooking, and usually it doesn't take from the morning, you know. Well, I will say, I'm not usually the host, so I'm not making the turkey. So I'm sure that is a concern.
Okay. Lazy bones over here. Got it. Inhospitable even. 2 points for me.
I have been highly involved in the cooking the last few years.
The game's back on.
The game's back on?
The game's back on. 2
Okay,
points
cool.
for me.
So we reset the scoreboard.
Yep.
Okay, good to know.
Somebody will tell us what our totals were.
I think you won. Just a guess.
I think so too. But I think it was no contest. Anyway, sorry.
I think that I was not interested in being around that entire time because that was boring to me as a kid. And as an adult, I'm like, I don't need that much time to be cooking.
Yep.
I also had like a relatively dynamic family situation for a lot of my childhood. And even now where, you know, my parents are divorced now. So there's a lot of logistical planning that has to happen where it's like, okay, where am I going for what meal? Where am I helping cook?
That is tough.
Etc. So that's something that I think maybe not everybody has to deal with. And maybe people have a different family situation than the one that I have. And it's just like, we're all hanging out at crib and everybody's having a great time. But for me, it's a lot of thinking and, you know, I don't need all that. So I love the food. I love Thanksgiving food, but it's not top tier like Halloween is for me.
You know what, Justin? I really appreciate that perspective because I hadn't really thought about it too much. Because my parents are divorced too, but my dad lives in Florida and the rest of my family lives up here in Connecticut. So it's never a question of like, how much time do I spend here versus there? Are we doing dinner here and dessert there? And then, the other thing for me is like, in my family, like growing up, especially, drinking was a huge part of the whole thing. And now it's not like that because some of my cousins have health issues. Some of them have dealt with what turned out to be alcoholism. And my mom has MS, so she's not drinking very much either. So it's changed a lot. But when I was young,
it was just a party.
It was just a whole day-long party and everybody was having a good time. Now it's definitely different. It's different. There is something sober. Sober is not really the word I wanted to use.
Sobering?
Because I wasn't trying to make like a joke or I wasn't trying to make like a pun, but there is something a little bit more austere about the holiday now. Like some of the fun and the edge is a little bit gone. And I'm not saying that's just because of the drinking, but it is because things are just a little bit more complex now than they used to be. But when I was young, I woke up. We're watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and the pre-show, obviously.
So you're a fan. You're a fan of the parade.
Well, Justin, it's just tradition, as they sang in Fiddler on the Roof.
Okay.
It's tradition at this point, and I feel like it doesn't feel like Thanksgiving if I'm not watching Al Roker hustling in front of the Grand Marshal saying, "Let's have a parade!" But I will tell you as an adult, I look at this and I'm like, what the fuck is this nonsense? What the fuck is going on this day here?
I remember Sean Paul performing Temperature during the Macy's Day Parade, and I was like, this is full millennial pandering. This is how I know that we made it as a generation. Like, we had decades of boomer pandering, and now we finally made it to millennial pandering.
Oh, yeah. Remember, it would always be like Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
The Beach Boys.
Yep. And now they have
a
Sean
Beatles
Paul.
tribute band, and now it's Sean Paul. We're really doing that.
I don't get the parade as a phenomenon. I'm going to be real.
I feel this way about a lot of things, but I feel this way especially about this parade. It was a big deal when it was like initiated, probably in, the 30s. It was a big spectacle because there wasn't shit going on. There was nothing to do. There was literally 3 channels. It was like ABC, NBC, and CBS. And they were like, NBC was like, we're going to work with Macy's, everyone's favorite retailer. Everyone shops at Macy's, and we're going to have a big ass parade. And so, like, yes, it was an advertising thing, but also there was nothing else happening. There were no other TV channels to watch. All the radio stations that existed were covering this fucking parade. Oh, you see here, Clifford the Big Red Dog is flying by.
Yeah, I mean, imagine being alive during a time where it was like, wow, look at these balloons.
Oh, what a sight to see, kids.
This is entertainment.
Big entertainment. But for me, it's just like, we gotta watch the lip sync performances. We gotta watch the host trying to find something remarkable to say about what is truly an unremarkable situation. And we gotta listen to high school marching bands for approximately 30 seconds each. Yep. What's up with that? I need to understand that a lot because I've always wondered, why do we have the high school marching bands? And they're like, they've come all the way from New Orleans. And then they like literally zip across the fucking screen and then they're gone. They literally got 15 seconds of fame and then they're gone. What's up with that? Don't they deserve a little bit more of our attention if you're flying them all the way up here and making such a big deal about it?
They fully deserve more attention, but the reason why is because, as you mentioned, it's an advertising thing. It's more about the floats and the companies who pay for the floats, right?
Oh, Snoopy and MetLife? And they're in bed together.
Pikachu. Every year.
Nintendo?
Yeah. Pokemon
We'd
Company.
love to see the Pikachu thing, yeah. Remember when Eevee was like a big thing? There was like an Eevee float for so many years, and I was like, why? It's not even like a big deal Pokemon.
I think Eevee's like the second most popular Pokemon.
Really?
There was a game that remade, it was on Switch. It was called Let's Go Pokemon Eevee and Pikachu.
Oh, wait. Yeah, you did tell me about that.
Yeah, actually. So that was like it was a remake of the original Red and Blue, and they, instead of being Red and Blue, it was Pikachu or Eevee.
Interesting. Oh, and the Sesame Street loves the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. They always do some queer little performance. And I'm saying queer derogatory in the old school way, not in the LGBT plus way. I just want to say this. I've always wanted to do a real traditional Thanksgiving feast. And by traditional, I do mean like what the Puritans that came to this country and spread smallpox, all the poxes, monkeypox, probably, to the natives and wiped them out. I want to eat what they ate. So one year we did seafood stuffing as like an homage to the original.
That sounds good.
And it was fucking good, Justin. I gotta tell you, it was so delicious. Crab and lobster chunks in stuffing. How bad could that be? I would like to do a real one where we have like clam chowder, Rhode Island style, obviously. The supreme style of clam chowder. Wouldn't you agree?
Rhode Island style is your favorite. Yeah, I agree with that. I like it a lot more than New England style, which is the creamy style.
Guess what? New England style is shit city.
I do have a soft spot for Manhattan style, which is the tomato based. Because I don't know if I said this before, but tomato is like one of my favorite foods. I love tomatoes.
I don't think you've ever said that. And we definitely haven't talked about the smell of them either.
But yeah, tomatoes, love them. So I have a soft spot for Manhattan, but I do think Rhode Island is the best.
You know what? Earlier when you were talking about how Thanksgiving was complicated for you, I thought you were going to say because of your indigenous heritage.
That's a whole other topic. How
do you feel about that as an indigenous descendant?
Bad. It's not great.
Not great, fam.
Yeah. It's bad.
What's happening over here in your household? You keep turning to the side and I'm seeing shadows moving about.
Brandy seemed offended that I said that Rhode Island is my favorite kind of clam chowder. Do you want to chime in, Brandy?
Apparently not true.
Okay. Tell Brandy she's got to
say it into the mic. Say it into the mic.
I'm disagreeing with Justin's comment about Rhode Island clam chowder. New England is inherently better. You need that creaminess. It adds so much goodness and deliciousness.
Wrong.
Rhode Island
so
is
wrong.
Just, it's sad.
So
it's
wrong.
A sad excuse for chowder, and that's all I have to say.
Well, I'm so glad that's all she had to say because she's completely in the wrong.
We'll have Brandy on the pod for a guest host stint at some point for sure.
After that, shit, I don't know if we will. We'll have to work that out in the remix.
Okay, we have to talk about one other thing before we take a break, which is Friendsgiving. How do you feel about Friendsgiving gatherings?
Here's how I feel about Friendsgiving.
I feel like this is like an aggressively millennial thing.
I was going to say that. I think this is a very new thing from our generation, even though I'm a very young millennial, obviously. But I will say that I kind of love them because you get to hang out with people who you really want to spend time with. Nobody's going through all that hassle to hang out with people who they don't care to see. Mm-hmm. And so I love when people want to do that. Here's one thing I will say. If you can't cook, don't make an attempt.
So you're saying it's okay to say no to cooking?
It's okay to say, what can I bring for wine? It's okay to say, can I bring a prepared appetizer?
Yeah, that's a great tip, yeah.
I subscribe to the Ina Garten, my Lord and Savior, thought of some food that's prepared and some food that's homemade. Because there's a lot of really good prepared food out there, or food that's like quasi-prepared, or cooked and just needs to be heated up. Mm-hmm. And I would much rather have a meal where there's some things that are pre-made, some things that you made, and some things that are just gathered and assembled, than have like a bunch of things that are homemade and most of them are like mediocre or shitty. I will say, I think that we are pretty lucky in our shared friend group that almost everybody can cook well.
I will say that, like, I think that's partially an age thing. Because I think, like, 10 years ago, I probably would have made something shitty. But, like, I've grown into learning more cooking techniques, and I have some cookbooks now, and I feel like I'm into it. I understand the basics of cooking a lot more now.
Yeah, sorry, the basics.
Now I'm the one who's, like, bringing higher quality dishes to my family gathering. You know what I mean? Which is nice. Yeah. And I feel like
I love that.
That's what's great about a Friendsgiving, especially like for me as somebody who's in a city where most of my family doesn't live, is that, you know, there's a lot of people, especially people from other countries who don't go home for Thanksgiving, right?
Right.
Having this type of Thanksgiving gathering that's separated from the biological family and more centered on just like who your found family is in whatever city you ended up in is really nice. So I'm a big fan of Friendsgiving. In some ways it's easier and more logistically easy than like traditional Thanksgiving because everybody brings their dish to the gathering as opposed to, you know, at least in my family, it's a lot of like, we're at this house, we're cooking all day in this house, like together. And then it comes out, you know?
Oh my God. You know what? the family cooking together shit is an absolute myth. You see that in every fucking movie. The family's all in the kitchen. Oh, he, get the plates. Oh, not that one. Oh, get the, oh, do you have the black pepper over there? Give me a little bit of that. Ha, ha, ha. No one's doing that. That is made up motion picture nonsense. If I'm in the kitchen with my mom, I'm telling her, go over there. You're in my way. If I'm in the kitchen with my dad, he's like, just sit over there because I need space. There's no situation in which the family is all harmoniously cooking together. At least not in my world.
Have you seen the tweet that's like, cooking together is not romantic, move out my fucking way?
I have not, but that really resonates with me.
I think there's two kinds of people.
I relate to that.
There's two kinds of people.
Two kinds, tell me.
There are people like you and Brandy who cook and are great cooks, and they need to have control over their dish.
100%.
Rightfully so, because they're good cooks. And then there's people like me, where I'm taking it easy.
Oh yeah,
I'm vibing in the kitchen. I'm slowly cooking. I do not need people to move out my way. Brandy, if we try to make a dish together, it's chaotic because she's like, just let me do it. You're cutting those onions too slowly, or like you're in my way and you're not letting me do this thing that I got to do. So yes. I respect both perspectives for sure.
I don't respect both, but I do respect mine and Brandy's.
The literal disrespect.
But you know what? I will say this about you, Justin. You and Sam and Ben, too. Actually, Ben is a good cook in his own right. I don't know that I would say that Sam is a good cook because I don't think that he does a lot of cooking. I think Allie does most of that. But I think he helps. I don't know. I don't want to disparage anybody on the pod.
Sam, email into the pod if Jeff's wrong. Yeah.
I don't really know. I can't be like, oh yeah, Sam made this thing and it was really good. You know what I mean? I can't point out a time that happened.
Yeah.
But what I will say about you and Ben and Sam is that the three of you are very willing to be helpful and relinquish control and just do tasks. Like, I have witnessed Brandy tell you, do this, and then you'll do it. And, you have also been like, what can I do to help? And I'm like, do this menial task that will save me time. And you do it, and you don't complain about it. So there's something to be said about people who are just, willing to be helpful and also accept abuse.
I think accept abuse is a bit strong, but I do think that you need
a joke.
For every Brandy or Geoff, you need a Justin or Sam. You know what I mean? You need somebody who is just going to be told what to do and be happy doing that and competent. I think that's another thing that is important is you can't have to manage us when we're doing that thing. Otherwise, it's wasted time.
100%. You know who else is really good at helping? Hannah.
Yeah, definitely.
You know who's not good at helping? Anna.
Anna's I'd rather not.
Anna's I'll pour us drinks.
Yeah.
And you're yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so let's get into verdicts.
Okay.
Geoff.
Yes.
Is fall as a season hot or not?
I would say fall tends to be relatively cool. I think that you generally just need a light jacket or layers, dress in layers.
More of a metaphorical hot or not.
Oh, okay, that's the route we're going with this? That's the angle?
Yeah,
okay.
It's not like we've done this 2 or 3 times before. Yeah.
No, I don't think we have. It's not ringing a bell.
Mm-hmm.
But in the dichotomy of hot or not, I would say fall's hot. I love it.
Have we ever said anything is not? Have we ever said anything is not? Okay, but go on.
I mean, Halloween's so fun. Fall decorations, so fun. You know I love crafts. Oh my god, I could have a whole podcast where I talk about crafts. You know what my newest thing is, Justin? I'm going to do this next weekend. Coming weekend. While you're at your wedding, that I wasn't invited to, by the way. Interesting. Just kidding. I'm going to be gathering leaves.
So raking. Okay.
Did you just say raking?
Raking leaves? Okay.
That's not at all what I mean, Justin, because firstly, I don't have a lawn, nor do I have a rake.
Oh.
But what I mean by gathering leaves is I will be foraging, as the millennials like to say, and I will be cutting down branches of oak leaves, and I'll be preserving them with glycerin.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
And then I'm making a beautiful garland of preserved oak leaves that's going to sit on my mantle and one for my doorway. How about that?
I like that.
Doesn't that sound fucking cute and fallish?
It's very cute.
Doesn't that sound like something you can only do in one of the best seasons, which is fall?
I think it sounds like that.
Golden oak leaves, Justin. It's going to look good. And guess what?
What?
Hurts no one. Good for the economy. Now I have to ask you, Justin. Fall. Hot or not?
Well, Geoff, something that I really love is the passage of time. And there being rituals that accompany the passage of time, as I discussed earlier this episode.
I meant to say, there's really something to be said about rituals. We didn't even talk about some of my witchy rituals I like to get into for Halloween. That's for a different pod.
Okay.
That's for a different pod. We'll talk about that in a future episode.
For sure.
But rituals as harbingers of the passage of time throughout the year, I think are very important, whatever they are.
And I think that more than any other season, fall feels like the passage of time, right? It feels like summer feels like it should never end, right? It's a great season. It's warm. Everybody's rolling, you know? Mm-hmm. Fall feels like a progression. It feels melancholy to me.
Yeah.
Just like outside of all the other things that we talked about today, the specific cultural signifiers of fall, I love fall for that reason. So fall is like one of my favorite seasons, probably my favorite season.
Ooh.
Summer number 2. I think that...
What's your least favorite, though?
It's winter. It's winter.
Like, it's no contest, you know?
Yeah, it's just cold. The only good part about it is the holiday season. And then once you hit January, it's tough.
Say January again.
January?
One more time.
January.
You say things in such an interesting way sometimes that I really got to hear it multiple times. It's like a very particular, scratch that I can't replicate. Like when you say film.
Film. Well, spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about a film later during my What's Good, so I'm excited
I hope
for
you
that.
say film.
But yeah, I really love fall, and yeah, for that reason, it's hot. Easily.
Fall really is so hot.
It is.
It is one of the best seasons.
There's only 4.
Justin, out of the 4, who would be the 3?
I mean, it's obviously summer, spring, and fall. Like, those are the only 3 that matter.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Winter's the pits.
Fuck winter. Well, I'm glad that we officially determined that fall is hot.
Absolutely.
But let's take a quick break, and then we'll come right back with our What's Goods.
We talked about what's hot. Now we got to talk about what's good.
As always, we'll be back in a second.
We'll be back. I got the last word.
And we're back. Geoff, this was really such a fun episode. I'm glad that we got to talk about this season.
You know, it was. We talked about a lot of things, but you know what's one thing we didn't talk about yet?
What's that?
What about Moo Deng? What about Moo Deng, Justin?
You're talking about the baby pygmy hippopotamus.
The baby pygmy hippopotamus. That's absolutely right. That's exactly who I'm talking
the
about.
The viral sensation, Moo Deng.
What do you think about Moo Deng?
I love her.
Do you get it?
I would die for her.
Would you really?
I mean, not literally, but she's very cute. She's very cute.
She is so cute. But I have to tell you, until just a few days ago, I did not know of her existence. Anna told me about Moo Deng and was like, what do you mean you don't know who Moo Deng is? I'm thinking this is like, I don't know, some kind of pop star from East Asia. I had no idea who Moo Deng was. And then she showed me, and then I knew.
What did you think?
And I understood. I understood.
Okay, so you get it. You get it.
I get it. It's like a little Sebastian thing. The girls who get it, and the girls who don't, gorn.
I never got Little Sebastian, but I do get Moo Deng. That's for sure.
And what about Pesto?
Okay, this is something I don't know about.
You don't know about Pesto, the baby emperor penguin with gigantism?
No, I do not.
Is it gigantism or gigantism?
I found Pesto.
He's a baby emperor penguin, but he's huge. He has gigantism. And he's so cute. Towers above the adults.
How big is he going to be when he's an adult?
I am so curious to find out. I would imagine, based on his size now, that he'd be twice as tall as an adult emperor penguin.
He eats 25 fish a day.
That's a lot of fish.
King King shit.
That's a misleading statistic because fish can be many sizes. I would like to know what kind of fish. Are we talking 25 sardines or 25 tuna? That's a very different volume of fish.
So they usually eat smelt in zoos.
Smelt? That's
Yes.
a fish?
Yes, a smelt.
It's not just a thing from Goldmember? Or when you, like, melt metals together?
No. So smelt are 3 to 5 inches. Pretty small. Okay, this is not really compelling content here.
Well, I wanted to know.
But this is wild. I did not know about Pesto. I'm going to follow him.
Well, you know what? I live for Pesto. Pesto is brat. That's that me. I'm Pesto.
Moo Deng is definitely brat. 100%. I feel like she's the embodiment of brat.
Okay.
I don't know enough about Pesto.
Well, you don't have to know enough because I do, and I'm telling you, Pesto is so brat.
Okay. I love brat zoo animals.
Me too. Bring back brat zoo animals. Remember Siegfried and Roy, their tigers that turned on them?
Were they brat or were they just like abused?
Well,
both.
That reaction was very brat.
Yeah.
I would say both.
Yeah.
I would say both.
Was that your what? Are brat zoo animals your what's good today?
No, that's not what's good. I just didn't have occasion to bring them up and wanted to cover them. Because I want them on the album art too.
The listeners need it. I'm
putting Moo Deng and Pesto on the album art.
Pesto is so big. These pictures are crazy.
He's huge. It's really like shocking. Like everyone's like, oh, he's like a baby emperor penguin with gigantism. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I saw it and I was like, holy shit!
He looks so funny.
He's so huge!
Funny. He doesn't have a neck. He's like...
Yeah. I mean, famously, penguins don't really have prominent necks. They do kind of always look like they're kind of shrugging.
But even more with the baby ones. Yeah.
Right. But like, I think his pissy stance is part of what makes him very brat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait. 2 more things before we actually get to what's good, but they're going to be so fast, I promise. Don't get mad. Don't get mad.
I'm not mad.
Okay. Firstly, Troye Sivan, Charlie XCX, the Brat Tour. Looks incredible. I want to go. Think I'm going to literally drive to Boston, buy tickets like as soon as the show starts for like next to nothing, and then go inside and have a good time. And I think I'm going to go alone.
Hot or not, going to concerts alone?
Remains to be seen. How's that for an answer?
Okay.
Because
update us next week.
I feel like for certain concerts, and I feel like Charlie and Troy are one of them, it would be totally acceptable. Nobody would be side-eyeing. It would be fun, and I would just be there to vibe with my neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Other concerts, I could see people being like, you're here alone. That's interesting.
I'm pro. I think this is a great idea.
I think it's a good idea, too. The other thing, I don't remember, so let's move on to what's good.
All right.
So, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
It's that time in the podcast. We talked about so many things. We talked about Moo Deng. We talked about Pesto. We talked about Thanksgiving. We talked about Halloween, going out as an adult versus the trunk or treats that our newest generation, what are they even called? Gen Alpha? Are being subjected to, which is not at all similar to our divine trick-or-treating door-to-door. And we also talked about Harlequin, Dr. Harleen Quinn releasing an album.
That's exactly right.
And the rest. But now, I'd like to ask you, Justin, could you tell me what's good?
I will, Geoff. I am going to talk about a film today, and that film is available to stream on Netflix. I know I've talked a little bit of shit about Netflix in recent episodes. However, this one is really a banger.
We love to hate on Netflix.
The film is called Rebel Ridge. It's directed by Jeremy Saulnier.
I'm going to have to stop you right there for just 1 minute.
Uh-huh.
This sounds like a right-wing forum. Rebel Ridge. rebelridge.blogspot.com.
Let me describe to you the film. I think that it's reclaiming a very obviously like Americana conservative sounding name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is a film directed by Jeremy Saulnier. He's the director of one of my favorite films ever, I think. It's called Green Room. And Green Room, I also highly recommend it. It's Anton Yelchin's final film before he passed.
Yeah.
It's a thriller about a punk band kind of
hot.
versus a bunch of neo-Nazis, which was an excellent thriller movie.
Oh.
This movie almost feels like a spiritual successor, like a part of the same series as Green Room, because it's like one guy versus an establishment of kind of like bigoted assholes. And in this movie, the bigoted assholes are the local police. So the movie stars Aaron Pierre, who plays a character named Terry. Terry is biking to a local jail where he's going to bail out his cousin who's been arrested for drug charges. And he's carrying a backpack of like $30,000 to pay for the bail and to pay for, I guess he bought a truck to help out his cousin. He was like, I'm going to buy this truck when I get to town with cash. He got it on Craigslist.
Okay.
As he's biking to the jail, a cop tries to pull him over. He's listening to music so he doesn't hear him, and the cop basically like bumps his bike and causes him to crash. That's how the movie begins.
Oh, shit.
Already, it's scary. I should mention that Aaron Pierre, the actor, and obviously the character Terry are black, so there's like an obvious connotation here. When you're seeing the cop following him on the bike, you're like, this is not going to end well, right?
Yep.
So they basically put him in cuffs, and they're like, hey, what are you doing out here? They find the money in his backpack, and they, of course, suspect that he's like a drug dealer of some kind.
Of course.
But they don't know, right? So you think like, okay, well, they have no proof, so they'll have to let him off. But it turns out there's a real life thing that cops can do called civil forfeiture, where they can take basically like money or property off of you if they suspect wrongdoing. Yep. They don't even need to know that you've done the wrongdoing, right?
Yeah, it's very similar to like a stop and frisk kind of energy.
Right. So the cops take his like $30,000 and they're like, we're going to take this and keep this.
And guess how long they have?
They have forever. And then if you want the money back, you have to sue them. And you have to have the money to pay for an attorney.
You have to like petition why you need it back.
This is kind of like the central thing that the movie is trying to say to the audience is like, this is a real thing that is actually possible, right?
Do you know how many people that's going to be lost on?
This happens, right? And it turns out that the reason why he's trying to bail out his cousin so soon is because his cousin ratted on a mob boss, and he's about to be transferred to a prison that contains a lot of lackeys of the mob boss. So he's like about to get murdered in that prison. So our main character, Terry, is like, I need that money. So it sets off a chain of events where Terry tries to get the money back by like legal means. And then at a certain point, you start to realize something's weird about this guy, Terry, because he, instead of like getting a hotel room or something, he like camps in the nearby wilderness. He catches fish with his bare hands. You're like, what's this guy's deal? It's weird because he's being very polite and considerate to the cops when he interacts with them, right? You learn that he's a vet. He was a Marine. And you're like, okay, he seems like he's like respecting authority, but then he obviously has some other kind of skill set. And he's very reserved for a very long time. And I will say this is like a star turn for Aaron Pierre. I would say if you are not familiar with him, get familiar with him because he's going to be in a lot of stuff.
I'm going to look him up.
He gave an incredible performance where he's like super reserved until he realizes there's nothing he can do within the realm of the law to get the money back and to save his cousin.
Oh, I've seen him before. He was in Old.
Yeah, he was in Old. He was in the M. Night Shyamalan film Old. Yeah.
Terrible movie.
But he really is a great actor.
Yeah.
And there's a moment basically where he decides, I am going to make this work. And he tests the sheriff of this local police department, who is played by Don Johnson, who famously also played a corrupt sheriff in Watchmen.
Watchmen, yes.
And he does an incredible job of being somebody who you just fucking hate.
Yeah.
You find out more about Terry's character and you learn that he has a unique set of skills.
Liam Neeson.
There's a lot of commonalities between this and like Rambo, where the initial First Blood, where he gets tested by the cops and then it goes down. Some shit goes down. But I will say that something that Jeremy Saulnier, and he also wrote this film, something that he does so well is that everything flows very naturally from one event to the other. There's never a moment where you're like, this is unbelievable, or like, this is an action movie, this would never happen in real life. Like, Terry tries to get out of the situation multiple times. There's multiple times where he's like, I'm just going to go. I don't need to be dealing with all this mess. And then it's just so pleasant to see these like domino chain of events happen where there's, of course, a showdown between him and this entire like local police force, which is made up of like 6 or 7 cops. He inevitably starts to uncover a conspiracy of how these cops are remaining funded as a local police department. Mm-hmm. It's just excellent. I think that it is kind of hard to miss some of the political undertones here because the civil forfeiture thing is not the only thing that they discuss. I don't want to talk spoilers, but
please don't.
There are some arguments in the film about standing up to people who are in these positions of authority and like being intentionally disobedient, right? Rather than just like kind of going with the flow, right? At the beginning of the movie, Terry, like I mentioned, he has a history of being in the military, so he wants to respect authority. But he eventually changes his mind and learns that the only way to affect change is to like stand up to people who are abusing authority. And action-wise, incredible action sequences, great hand-to-hand combat. It's just a banger. So I'd highly recommend it. It's called Rebel Ridge. It's on Netflix, directed by Jeremy Saulnier on the Netflix. Go watch it. Yeah.
Well, Justin, thank you so much for the recommendation. And I am planning to watch a movie later tonight. So guess what I'm going to watch?
Rebel Ridge?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure after last week.
Well, what did you think I was going to say?
I thought you might have been like Hocus Pocus. It's fall.
Well, Justin, I've already watched Hocus Pocus, as I'm sure you could have guessed.
It's still September, so no guarantees.
I watched it with Colleen. She came over a few nights ago, and we watched that when she was home. Gotta say, it was great. And you know what we didn't bring up, but we should have? The fact that you hate Hocus Pocus.
We'll save that for another episode. Because, Geoff, I have to ask you, as I do every episode.
You do every episode.
What's good with you this week?
Well, Justin, I'd like to tell you something that I just discovered is really good, and that is the way that Aaron Pierre looks. This man is hot as fuck. You should have led with that. Because I did look him up, and he's extremely beautiful.
He's, like, extremely jacked. Like, you can tell from his appearance that he is somebody who can beat the shit out of you if he wanted to, you know?
He looks like the kind of person who, you might say, knows his way around the gym.
Yep.
Let's just say that.
So there's that subtext in the film before shit starts to really go down, too, for sure.
Makes sense. Nice little added quality to the film, I'm sure. But actually, what's good for me this week is a little show on FX. And I just want to let's shout out FX because they have consistently for multiple decades now put out quality television. I would say premium cable television, nearly on par with the production value of HBO. So shout out to FX.
Shout out. You're right.
What I'd specifically like to shout out and tell you what's good this week is a show on FX called English Teacher. That show is a half hour. We all know when I say half hour, I actually mean 22-minute comedy. And it's created by Brian. Hold on, I'm going to remember his name. Brian Alvarez, as I know, is his last name, but he has a middle name that he goes by.
Jordan.
Brian Jordan Alvarez. He has been putting out great content on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram for years. He, I believe, is like an improv person, but he's went into sketch comedy and he's done some really funny bits that have gone viral over the years, but I don't think that he has personally got his due. He also was recently in the movie Megan, 2022, I believe. He is a comedic genius. I find his new show on FX, English Teacher, to be absolutely hilarious. He has written a show that I think has done the impossible, which is he has perfectly captured like the eye-rolly sentiment of Gen Alpha and Elder Gen Z while also providing them with due respect. And I think that those are two things that are not often necessarily like both done in the same space.
Totally agree with you.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of films written by non-Gen Z that are like bashing Gen Z, and it comes off very out of touch, you know?
Yes, and it's like, oh, can you believe these woke fools?
Right.
Oh, what are you gonna marry a tree stump? Like, it's that kind of energy with a lot of things about Gen Z, but what I think is so brilliant about the show, besides like the great performances and the clever writing, is that they shed a light on what it's like to be a young person in today's world where there are so many crazy things happening, and then also you're still in high school and dealing with the same high school issues and problems that everyone who's been to high school in the last 50 years has been dealing with. The dynamics in high schools in America has really not changed all that much. But now you also, on top of that, have the threat daily of like gun violence, of drugs, but not even in the same way that there was like drugs usage around us when we were young and in high school. But it's like where like something as simple as weed could also be laced with some crazy shit. And also dealing with the political climate and like the United States always being involved for your entire lifespan in foreign conflicts, aka wars, but we don't want to call it that. So it's a really interesting show. It's very funny. The performances by the adults in the show are great, but the performances by the teenagers in the show, who most of them are either in their very early 20s or actually teenagers, are so incredible. I think that this is one of those shows that is going to be a gateway for a lot of young actors to really make their mark in the world. I think a lot of the people on this cast are going to go on to have prominent, potentially A-list level careers. They're so interesting. Their performances are so nuanced and lived in. And I also have just been laughing out loud. And I don't often laugh out loud at shows, even when I think they're really funny. But I literally like knee slapped the other night at their most recent episode. There's 5 out now. It's streaming on Hulu, and it comes out on, I believe, Wednesdays is when it airs on FX if you still have cable. But it's also available the next day on Hulu. The English teacher, that is my what's good this week.
Wow, yeah, this is a brand new show. It just dropped this month. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good. You know what I would also say is like, it's a great compliment to Abbott Elementary, because that's another show that I love. And I think it might have been a what's good early on. I can't remember. Abbott Elementary is another show that I love. This is, I would say, very similar. Or, well, it's not similar. It's a good compliment to Abbott Elementary. Abbott Elementary is like kind of a really good feel-good show. And also very funny, but in a different way. This one, I think, is like in almost like a parallel universe. Part of what's interesting about this show, I should have said this earlier, is that it's set in Texas. And so a lot of the teachers and parents that are in the show have views that are extremely different than the progressive liberal ideas that a lot of the students and the teachers feel. And that creates a really interesting dynamic that I think is a little bit more complex than Abbott Elementary is. Abbott Elementary, I think, is great because it deals with like racial issues and systemic racism, and basically the plight of the poor and under-resourced in our country. This show deals with people who feel like they're on an island of ideology. And I think that's really interesting.
Well said. All right, well, this has been a great episode of Bants.
This has been a great episode of the internationally acclaimed podcast, Bants. And we do want you all to make sure that you review, rate, subscribe, and give us a little comment and tell us where you're listening from, because it was really fun to see this person who Justin and I really don't know, who listens to us from Germany and called us his favorite gay American podcast. Which was so fucking funny.
We love that. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week, where we'll have another great episode of our internationally acclaimed podcast. Bye! Bye! This has been the internationally acclaimed podcast, Bants, with Geoff and Justin. Bants is created and produced by me, Geoff Taylor, and Justin Benavidez. Graphic design by me, Geoff Taylor, when I finally get around to it. Editing by Justin Benavidez. The theme music for Bants is the track Time With You by Tala featuring Rule, and that's spelled RVLE, and is provided by No Copyright Sounds. Email us at bantspod@gmail.com with any questions, recommendations, or just to say hi. If you like the podcast, rate and review us on Apple or Spotify, and tell your friends. Bye!
Bye. Time for another Geoff and Justin mess around. Justin.
Do you want to pick another one, or do you think that's good?
It's a New Girl reference, so I'm cool with it.
Okay. Sips drink. All right, so let's get started. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. My brain is like fully fucking rotten. I'm like, what are we doing?
Geoff!
Like, actually, though. I'm like, okay. All right.